We all have book titles that we love to read to our children and grandchildren. Harry McClary, Where is the Green Sheep? We're Going on a Bear Hunt. Room on a Broom. And I'm here to tell you that dads read those stories very differently to mums and grandparents. So a little bit of history. Around about the Second World War, more women started to enter the workforce and the traditional family culture of mum staying at home, looking after kids, bringing up kids, and dad going off to work slowly started to change. This accelerated in about the year 2000 when our Australian government introduced the Childcare Benefit Scheme, and that provided incentives for organisations to create childcare services, but also assisted parents with the cost of sending their children along to these services. And since then, the number of children in these services has gone up and down, but currently sits at around 21% across the country. The dilemma Our more specific issues in Hervey Bay sit around the situation with our young people. The Australian Early Development Census is carried out every 3 years, and the last one in 2021 indicated that 10% of our children were vulnerable in language and 12% in communication. This means that when they get to school, they don't have the skills that are required for them to quickly build on with the work that teachers are doing in classrooms. Another statistic that comes out of that census is that in Hervey Bay, the number of children utilising centre-based daycare has grown from 57% in 2015 to 63% in 2021. Anecdotally, our teachers provide information to the census takers, and they are telling us that children who are not read to or encouraged to read at the home, those numbers have grown from 8.8% in 2015 to 11.3% in 2021. And we feel that this is an issue that really needs to be addressed. There are lots of benefits that you can get by reading with children. One of the main ones is that it stimulates patterns of brain development. Just holding a book, learning to turn a page, seeing where the written word is and how it relates to illustrations is important in this sort of thing. It strengthens our parent-child relationships, and this is something else that's important and an area where on the AECD index we are shown to be quite low, and that's the social and emotional skills that our children have. It also improves thinking and problem-solving skills. It allows our kids to embrace new concepts, understand new ideas, and just understand that the world they live in. So why do we want to focus on dads? The research shows that, obviously, as we all know, dads are big role models, and they read books very differently. They choose a different type of book, often books that talk about farts or bums or something like that, where they can have a bit of a laugh with their kids as they read it. But then they also bring in more complex and abstract language, and they often relate a book to their own personal experience, and they might talk about their experience with trucks or travel or in the working world, and they'll link it to the child's own personal experience. There's also been research that shows that there's a positive link between dads reading to children and improved NAPLAN scores in Australia. But also, if children are read to between the ages of 18 and 36 months, particularly by dads, there's an improved vocabulary and cognition at the 36-month mark. Our idea is to have 4 activities a year where we can encourage dads to read with their kids. So, a pajama night maybe in the neighbourhood centre, or a reading chair at Christmas where we can read Christmas stories and we'll have lots of books available for dads to read to their kids. Someone suggested that maybe we could try Bunnings and do something there. So we want to have these 4 activities, but we also want to develop like a bookmark that has on it some tips for dads as they read for kids. So, here's some ideas that you might use as you're reading books. And as well as that, a list of titles that our children's librarian will put together for us that will give some ideas for dads about the books that they might read. Our budget is there, as you can see on the screen. We're looking for about 3,600 as seed funding to keep this going or get this going, but then it would be considerably less than that as we continued. So, in the words of Dr. Seuss, the more that you read, the more things you will know. The more that you learn, the more places you'll go. And our idea is that dads do read differently, and the pitch is a fun way to connect with dads across a range of different environments and experiences to encourage them to read to their children and improve readiness for school and life. Thanks.